Hi guys, how's it going? Today's video is quite honestly perhaps the saddest video I've made since we started this channel, and it's such a shame because upon reaching that milestone of 1,000 subscribers, I was looking forward to delivering a jovial, high-spirited thank you to all of you out there who supported the channel and take so much of your own time to comment and all that stuff that it entails, the subscriptions and all that. I even had my Brexit EU jacket ready to go. Unfortunately, the news from Jeffrey Donaldson means that the ramifications of Brexit stakes have been lifted to a whole new level. And please believe me, it's a very, very dangerous level. Okay? Though many of you out there may not think, and with some justification, what is a big deal here? You know, what is it all about? I promise you, I urge you to be very aware that Brexit could single-handedly cause an eruption of violence that many of you may remember, though some may not. But I remember it like yesterday. I remember the day we got a call that my cousin had been killed in a UVF explosion in Dublin City. My own family, along with many thousands of other bereaved families from across the north of Ireland, from across the UK, across Europe, whose lives were touched by similar grief, were left numb and asking why. Okay? Jeffrey Donaldson is perhaps the most bitter of all leaders that the North has seen. It's in its entire history, leaving aside Ian Paisley, I would think, but perhaps even worse than Ian Paisley. Donaldson has fanned the flames of sectarianism to ensure that at all costs, no matter the will of the people, be they in the majority or not, Dublin must be kept as far away from Belfast as possible. That is his agenda. End of story. But let's put this into some context. Throughout my working life, many have asked me, because I've traveled all over the world, and they continue to ask me, especially some of the places I go to, what was the big problem in the North? When in the UK I'm asked the same question, I explain it like this. Imagine you're driving from London to Birmingham, and along the road you get stopped at an army checkpoint, and you're asked by a French army officer, what are you doing, where are you going, who are you meeting with? If you live in Germany and chose to drive from Munich to Frankfurt, you get stopped by an Italian army with similar questions, or you're in Italy driving from Ancona to Rome, or in Spain from Barcelona to Madrid, being stopped by the Portuguese army. Well, that is what happened in Ireland up until the Good Friday Agreement. Irish people were stopped by English soldiers just an hour and a half outside of Dublin. Now, don't misunderstand me at all. I always found the soldiers to be polite. I always found the soldiers to be friendly. But I also always knew they were targets because they were seen as soldiers on foreign soil. This view has been echoed entirely by the former head of the PSNI and the former head of Her Majesty Customs and the current head of Her Majesty Customs. But Donaldson releases statements about how he's trying to uphold the Good Friday Agreement. If that were true, I would be 100% behind him. 100% be in no doubt, none at all. But this guy is a liar. This is the same guy that tore up the Good Friday Agreement at a prearranged time, at a prearranged location, and in the full spotlight of the international media after making his dramatic exit from the Good Friday negotiations on the morning before they were concluded. He stood and he tore it up. Okay, that's the guy we're talking about here. Furthermore, by the way, the Good Friday Agreement, when properly understood, is very clear about the consent principle included in the agreement that requires that whether Northern Ireland reunifies with Ireland or remains in the UK, it is to be decided by the majority of the people of Northern Ireland. And it's got nothing to do with the UK, and it's got nothing to do with the Republic. Now, contrary to what Donaldson claims on elements within the Good Friday Agreement, there is no such constitution or legal infringement on any part of the Good Friday Agreement, because the functions concerned, namely customs, EU single market regulation and VAT, are not and never were under the remit of the Northern Ireland Assembly or executive functions, either under the GFA or under the Northern Ireland Act of 1998, or the treaty between the UK and Ireland, which is annexed to the Good Friday Agreement. Therefore, as a matter of pure law, and in the absence of statutory changes in UK law or jointly agreed changes in the Good Friday Agreement, these functions are not subject to cross-community consent procedures. Okay? They're purely a public service task. But Donaldson is simply beating the drum. What he fails to understand, what he even fails to acknowledge, is that he was told in crystal clear language that should Brexit happen, it would lead to a premature breakup of the Union. He was told that, he knew it, everybody told him. But he played a different card alongside that other numpty Sammy Wilson, who both, by the way, benefited from a £435,000 donation from Richard Cook, the former Conservative candidate in Scotland. Donaldson knew that his type of politics was coming to an end. The sectarian poison that had bedeviled the North had all but disappeared. And with that vacation of sectarian loyalty went the DUP, exit stage left. Their influence was finished. But in order to prolong their usefulness, they needed Brexit. They knew that the significant majority of people in the North wanted nothing to do with Brexit. And yet, Donaldson and Wilson fought tooth and nail for Brexit. When asked about how to handle the border, it was brushed aside, a lesson he learned from his buddy Farage and especially from Rees-Mogg. But he knew, he hoped, he prayed for Brexit because he knew that a border was going to be required. And Donaldson wanted that border to separate the North of Ireland from the Republic of Ireland. His loyalty to Westminster pales into insignificance to his hatred and contempt that he holds for Dublin and the influence of Dublin and London exercised over the North. That's what bugs him. But things went pear-shaped for Donaldson. The DUP had lost its influence over the Conservative government under Boris. Remember, the DUP once had huge influence under May, but that exploded like a helium balloon in spectacular fashion when Boris charged a victory, okay, with an overwhelming majority. Boris and his mates in the ERG, with a commanding majority, no longer needed Donaldson, no longer needed the DUP, and were more than ready, willing, and able to throw the DUP under the Brexit bus. Johnson was not going to let the North get in the way of getting Brexit done. The word was on the street that Northern Ireland was out. Donaldson had shot himself in the foot. So with the Oompa Loompa Frost negotiating the TCA, Donaldson was delivered a fait accompli. But like Blackadder, he had a cunning plan, okay? The first was to order the stop of all construction border facilities in Larne. The second was to intimidate any and all workers or officials involved in any way with the development of the new border posts. Third, did the DUP condemn such actions by the UVF paramilitaries? No, that comes to number 4. The opposite. They did the opposite and released a statement that sympathized with the isolation the vigilantes must have felt and understood, and why they took measures into their own hands. And Donaldson was front and center of that whole escapade. What I say to you is, this Donaldson is poison, needs to be shut up. If Johnson listens to Donaldson, it's over. We will have trouble back in the north. We will have trouble back in the north. And that trouble will not stay in the north. It will migrate. It'll migrate to the Republic. It'll migrate to the UK. And we're back to yet another Brucey bonus of Brexit. Thank you for listening, guys. I wish it was a better video. I wish I could make everybody happy, but this one's just a killer blow. He's trying to stop. He's doing what Johnson did. He's trying to prorogue Parliament. He's going to shut down the Northern Ireland Assembly. That's what he's going to do. And he's going to try and strangle it. What can we do? Thanks for listening, guys. See you on the flip side.